by God to make America great again. There's a radical and corrupt establishment has extracted power and wealth from our citizens. I will declare a national emergency at our southern border. Today, I will also declare a national energy emergency. We will drill, baby, drill. The official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female. Our armed forces will be freed to focus on their sole mission, defeating America's enemies. Like in 2017, we will again build the strongest military the world has ever seen.
So, Donald Trump is back, and his first day in office has already sent shockwaves across America. Love him or hate him, Trump has a knack for grabbing headlines, and this time is no different. From immigration to climate policy, he wasted no time signing orders that could redefine the nation. Let's unpack what these moves really mean for America and beyond.
The golden age of America begins right now.
Get this, Donald Trump wasted no time in tackling immigration, one of his cornerstone issues. During his inaugural address, he declared a national emergency at the southern border, paving the way for sweeping changes. This included closing the border to anyone without legal status. That's right, his first act was essentially to slam the door shut on undocumented immigrants, labeling the situation an invasion.
Protection for dangerous criminals, many from prisons and mental institutions that have illegally entered our country from all over the world. We have a government that has given unlimited funding to the defense of foreign borders, but refuses to defend American borders or, more importantly, its own people.
He didn't stop there. Trump signed an executive order aimed at abolishing birthright citizenship, a right guaranteed by the 14th Amendment. His administration seeks to exploit a gray area in the Constitution's language about individuals subject to the jurisdiction of the United States, potentially stripping children born to undocumented or non-citizen parents of their American citizenship. Additionally, Trump reinstated the controversial Remain in Mexico policy, requiring asylum seekers to wait south of the border while their claims are processed. Refugees weren't spared either. Trump's orders suspended the U.S. refugee program for at least 4 months, impacting thousands of individuals, including Afghan minors cleared to reunite with their families. For Trump's supporters, these measures are seen as a necessary step to protect national security. For critics, they're viewed as draconian policies that undermine America's humanitarian commitments and constitutional rights. In a move that sent shockwaves through the LGBTQ+ community, Trump declared, "As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female."
It will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
This statement set the stage for one of the most controversial executive orders of the day, barring federal recognition of transgender Americans. This policy will have sweeping consequences. Passports and other government-issued IDs will now list only a person's birth gender. Trans individuals will lose protections under laws barring sex-based discrimination, and funding for gender-affirming surgeries for federal prisoners will be eliminated. In addition, Trump overturned the 2021 order by Joe Biden that allowed transgender Americans to serve openly in the military. The move is seen by many as a direct rollback of progress made for LGBTQ+ rights in recent years. These changes are being celebrated by Trump's base as a return to traditional values. But for millions of Americans, it's a gut-wrenching rollback of equality and acceptance. As the nation grapples with catastrophic climate disasters, Trump's policies on day one sent a clear message. Environmental concerns will take a back seat. Declaring a national energy emergency, Trump unveiled his Drill Baby Drill agenda, allowing oil companies to expand operations without restriction. One of the boldest moves was his withdrawal from the Paris Climate Agreement, a global pact aimed at reducing greenhouse gas emissions. By doing so, the U.S. joins a short list of non-participating nations, including Iran and Yemen. Critics argue this decision undermines global efforts to combat climate change, especially as the U.S. is one of the world's largest carbon emitters. In another blow to green energy, Trump revoked Biden-era targets for electric vehicles and put a temporary stop to offshore wind leasing. These actions have left environmentalists furious and climate scientists worried about the long-term implications. Supporters of Trump's energy policies see them as a boost for American jobs and energy independence. But for the rest of the world, it signals a troubling step backward in the fight against climate change. In a highly polarizing move, Trump signed an order pulling the United States out of the World Health Organization, WHO. Labeling the organization as inept and overly dependent on U.S. funding, Trump justified the decision by citing its handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. The U.S. has been the WHO's largest contributor, and this withdrawal could have catastrophic consequences for global health initiatives, from combating infectious diseases to responding to humanitarian crises. Critics warn that this decision will isolate America and weaken international collaboration in future pandemics. For Trump and his supporters, this move is a rejection of what they perceive as globalist overreach. But for public health experts, it's a reckless gamble with lives at stake. Trump's love for the death penalty took center stage as he signed an order titled Restoring the Death Penalty. The order demands that the Attorney General seek capital punishment for severe crimes, particularly those involving the death of law enforcement officers or committed by undocumented immigrants. This is a stark reversal of Biden's efforts to eliminate the federal death penalty, citing concerns about cruel and unusual punishment. Trump's directive even includes measures to ensure states have access to lethal injection drugs, a move that critics argue prioritizes punishment over justice. For Trump's base, this policy is about restoring law and order. But for opponents, it's a chilling reminder of how justice can be weaponized under his administration. In an unexpected turn, Trump announced symbolic but contentious name changes. The Gulf of Mexico is now to be called the Gulf of America, and Alaska's Denali, the tallest mountain in the U.S., will revert to its colonial name, Mount McKinley. While these changes might seem minor compared to his other policies, they've sparked outrage, especially in Alaska, where Denali holds deep cultural and historical significance for the Koyukon Athabascan people. Critics view these moves as dismissive of indigenous heritage, while Trump supporters see them as patriotic gestures. Perhaps the most jaw-dropping move of the day was Trump's mass pardoning of nearly 1,600 individuals involved in the January 6th Capitol attack. This included members of far-right groups like the Oath Keepers and Proud Boys, who were convicted of sedition. Trump's decision has reignited debates about justice, accountability, and the rule of law. His supporters view the pardons as correcting what they see as political persecution. For others, it's a slap in the face to democracy and a dangerous precedent for future insurrections. Trump also addressed the contentious TikTok ban by signing an order delaying its enforcement for 75 days. While technically illegal to host the app in the US, Trump's order gives Apple and Google some breathing room, provided his Justice Department doesn't enforce the ban. This delay, Trump argues, is to negotiate a deal that protects national security. However, critics view it as a self-serving move to allow Americans to share TikToks of his inauguration. Trump's vision of a leaner, meaner federal government became evident with orders targeting career officials and work-from-home policies. A memo was signed to make it easier to fire senior federal employees, whom Trump has long derided as part of the deep state. Additionally, Trump ended remote work for federal employees, forcing them back to their offices. While his supporters frame these changes as improving government efficiency, critics argue they're designed to consolidate power and stifle dissent within federal agencies. Another significant move was Trump's order rescinding Biden-era initiatives aimed at promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion. Programs designed to combat discrimination based on race, gender, and sexual orientation have been scrapped, signaling a sharp turn away from progressive values. Trump's supporters see this as a rejection of woke culture, while opponents view it as an attack on marginalized communities. Trump's first day back in office was nothing short of a political earthquake. His executive orders reflect a broader vision of America, one that prioritizes traditional values, national security, and energy independence, but often at the expense of human rights, environmental progress, and global cooperation. Whether you agree with Trump's policies or oppose them, one thing is clear: his administration will leave a lasting impact on the country. So what do you think about these changes? Are they a necessary correction or a step backward? Let us know in the comments below.